Hi, computer scientists. We are now ready to start working on our images for our application. So I'm going to open up my see-through folder we created. I'm going to go to our background. That's what we're going to be working on. And I asked you guys to go home and take a picture in a portrait view. And right now I'm in my data view. If you happen to be in this view, you can see your picture. Change it to the data view and let's take a look at some of the information on here. First of all, you want to rename this. So if yours, again, when I took mine off my phone, it was 187Z749 whatever. Simply right click and choose rename and make sure you rename that image. I do not want to see any image with a crazy name. But then looking at our dimensions, you want to make sure that your dimensions, it's taller, because your height is always the second number, taller than wider. So your width is first and your height. Now if you don't see dimensions, again, a quick recap, right click along the top up here and choose your dimensions to turn that on. Alright, so we've got that. I'm going to open this up. And yes, beautiful. It is in portrait mode, meaning it's taller than wider. So you're ready to go. Again, please find that image online if you need to. With that said, you guys, I'm going to open up my application called GIMP, and I put mine down here on the taskbar, so it's ready to go. If you need to go find your program, please do, and I would suggest to pin it to your taskbar because we'll be using that for a couple days. And I'm going to bring this over. Again, this is in my raw folder. This is from my phone itself, and I'm going to drag this over. Once I get it there, you guys, I want to right away save it as a GIMP file. So I'm going to go File, Save As, and I'm going to put this in my desktop. I'm going to go to my see-through folder, my background, and this is now for my GIMP file. And it's called Fall Colors. They kept the same name for my raw JPEG, and it is now going as an XCF. This is the file extension for a GIMP file. So I'm going to choose Save. And now if I go through my breadcrumbs and go to my GIMP file, there is my Fall Colors. It's a GIMP image. If I ever need to go back and re-edit it, this is where I would go to open that up in GIMP. All right, so here we are in GIMP, you guys, and just to show you a little bit here in the bottom left-hand corner, make sure that you guys are in pixels. I'm not sure what the default is. I've been using GIMP for quite a bit. I can't recall if I had to go in here and change it or not to pixels, but that's what we're going to be looking at. And we are at 25% of this image's original size. What I could do is I could jump this up to 100%. This is the resolution that my phone took this picture, and it looks pretty nice and pretty clear. However, we don't need this image to be this big. I mean, we can't even see all of it. Think of this on your tablet or your phone or something like that. You don't need this picture to be this big. We're going to do a little bit of resizing. I'm going to take this back down to even at 50%. I can't see it all. I'm going to jump down to 25%. All right, so again, the file is still very large. We want to bring this file size down. Why do we want to bring the file size down? Think of your users on your applications. They want images to load fairly fast. If you have a very large image, it's going to take them a little bit longer, especially if they're using maybe cellular data, they're not using Wi-Fi, if they have slow internet speeds or whatever via their data on their phone or their tablets, whatever. You want to have your users have a good experience. So I'm going to go, you guys, to my image drop-down toolbar, and I'm going to choose Scale Image. And here is my width and my height, according to exactly what I saw in my dimensions from my file folder. And I'm going to decrease this, you guys, maybe to 500 pixels, and I'm going to press my Enter key on my keyboard. By keeping this lock on here that kept it proportionate, it automatically did some math. Our central processing units did some math with this application and figured out that our height to keep it proportionate is 708. Beautiful. I'm going to choose Scale. Brings it down to this size. Now this size is still at 25%. Let me go and bring this up to 100%. Now think of your tablet. Think of your phone. This would be a good size image. It's still pretty clear, but again on your phone, this is the size. And we actually took out a lot of pixels, if you will, because we compressed it down to a smaller size. If you even wanted to go smaller, you could. You could scale your image down even more. But I'm going to leave it right here for right now, and I'm going to do a File, and I'm going to do an export as. I'm going to export this image now, and I am going to go to my desktop over here on the left hand side. I'm going to go to my see-through, my background, but in background, you guys, I'm going to go to my final edit. All right, and I'm going to choose, it's set to a PNG. I can actually change this, you guys, to a JPEG because I'm not using what's called an alpha channel. We discussed that in the previous video. And so JPEGs will actually take that extra alpha channel out. We only need 24 bytes of data for that. So I'm going to choose export now. Let me double click that. Make sure in your name that it is as a JPEG, you guys. So actually I'm going to go to my final edit. I should have opened that up, sorry. And now I'm going to rename this Fall Colors, maybe to, I don't know, Take One, if you will. Take One. All right, and we'll see what this one looks like at JPEG. And we're going to choose export. And yes, export that at 100% quality. Now you guys, I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to bring this image down a little bit further. Image at 5, I'm going to take it down to 400. And I'm going to press my enter key. It keeps it proportionate, and I'm going to choose scale. And again, it brings us down to this size. Again, I've got my Samsung phone in front of me, and I'm holding it up to the screen, and it's at 100% according to this location here. And this one might be good as well, but we'll see. So I'm going to export this one as well. Export as. And now I'm going to change this Take One to Take Two, just so I can compare the two, and choose export. Well, export. There we go. And yes, export again. So let me go ahead and minimize my GIMP now, and let me go ahead and bring up my background. I'm going to go to my final edit, and I've got two images here. This was our Take One. This one was, if we look at the size, we don't have our resolution there. Sometimes you got to right click and go to your dimensions. So this was our 500 by 708, and this is our 400 by 566. Let me go ahead and open this up. So again, this is my Take One, my 500. This is my Take Two, so that one's a little smaller. All right, look at your file size here, you guys. Our file size goes from 620 kilobytes to 405 kilobytes. You're going to have to make a decision. What dimension may work for you? If it starts to get really pixelated at 405 kilobytes, well, then use the larger one. But you definitely want to think about your users, and when they're going to be loading up your program, the smaller the file size, the better, without getting too distorted. All right. And so at this time, you guys, we've got a couple of them. I think I'm going to go with my Take Two. It gets a little smaller. I still like the size of that. I think I'm okay with that. I've got my file size down. So I'm actually going to delete my Take One. And I am going to now, you know what? Can I undo that? Yes, I can. I think I'm going to undo that with a Control-Z on my keyboard. I'm going to keep these two. I'm going to put them actually into my application, and then I'll decide what one I really want to use. Take a look at it from both points. If it looks great at 405 kilobytes with a dimension of 400 by 566, by all means, use the smaller ones. If it looks a little pixelated, then go ahead and use the larger one. What do we mean by pixelated? Well, if you are looking at it on your tablet and it looks like this, where it's not too clear and crisp, well, then you might want to use the bigger file size. So we'll go ahead and leave those there. That'll be just fine. All right. Ultimately, you'll choose one. All right, you guys. So we've got that done. And so here, you guys, we have our raw image. You don't want to change this. This is in its original dimensions. All right. So you never want to change that one. You've got your GIMP file. If we ever need to open this back up, it opens up in GIMP, so we can do some more editing. All right, and then here we have our final edit, again, where we went ahead and exported those JPEG images. Beautiful. All right, you guys, so that's our tutorial for today.